Hi, I hope you're having a really good week. I'm actually in my bedroom. I hope this squeaking bed isn't too loud. It's from Steve and I, the door's over there, and we launch in from the hallway like we're jumping onto a trampoline every time we go to bed, and so it's like pushed the bed over and made the head a bit squeaky. Anyway, I just thought I would do my video from in here today. I'm just spitting everywhere. Oh my god. It is like 4 o'clock in the afternoon. I went out for brunch this morning with one of my friends, and I already did my makeup early this morning, but because I did a later video yesterday, I was like, I don't know what I'm gonna talk about already, because I haven't really done anything since then except sleep basically. So I decided I'd do it this afternoon, and the lighting's better in here this time of afternoon. I'm still thinking about whether I'm going to do them while I'm doing my makeup or walking around. I'm just at this point trying out different things to see what I like doing, to see what you guys like, what's the most helpful, and I guess what's the easiest way for me to share what I'm working on, all of that kind of thing. But I don't really know what I'm going to talk about today, and I kind of felt myself feeling hesitant to film this afternoon and putting it off a little bit because I wasn't sure exactly what I was going to talk about. But I think I just am going to chat a little bit about how I stay inspired, because a big part of what I do is kind of try to keep myself in the right mindset, which is a mindset where I'm not letting self-doubt and fear take over. I'm really trying to take as much action as I can to do as much as I possibly can. I've just written out a big email that's going out to everyone who's subscribed to my emails tonight, which is all about how doing and taking action has really improved my self-confidence in the last few months, and that I didn't even really realize that it would have that impact. But it makes sense now I think about it, that when you're backing out of your own plans, you never finish anything that you start. All of that, it's really hard to have confidence in yourself when you're not actually following through with anything. But now that I'm just putting a lot more out there, and I feel like I'm doing it in such an authentic way that really feels true to me, as lame as that might sound, I'm just really starting to notice that I'm slowly beginning to back myself more and believe in myself more and all of that, which is such a good feeling, and it kind of just creeps up on you. But in the last few weeks especially, I've just been like feeling really proud of myself, and I feel like, not that there hasn't been a lot of things I could be proud of myself for, but in the past, but it just used to be really hard. It felt like it was never enough, but now I'm finally starting to feel like it's enough, and just relating to myself differently, and it's all from doing. But anyway, I'm going to send out a big email about that tonight. So if you're on my email list, you would have gotten it a week ago by the time you're watching this. But yeah, I've just found that doing has had such a big impact on my self-confidence, and I still have a lot of room for improvement. I still talk to myself sometimes like I'm a horrible person. So that is something I really am still working on, but I think I can feel a difference, and I can't really explain it, but I can feel a difference. So yeah, that's just fun. Oh, that's the kids next door. They're on the trampoline. So yeah, part of what I like to spend a lot of time doing is staying in a mindset, as I was saying, where I'm taking action and not letting self-doubt win, because even though I'm being more self-confident, I've really had a lot more of it than I have in the past. I still have self-doubt, and I don't think the two are mutually exclusive, but self-doubt is just kind of like the monkey mind that, kicks in and just is like, what? You're leaving the cave, what are you doing? So I think you can be self-confident but still experience that self-doubt when you leave your comfort zone. I don't know. Just my experience, just my thoughts on that. I'm not sure what the actual answer is, or if there even is one. But yeah, I really like to keep myself in the right mindset, and to do that, I listen to a lot of podcasts, as I already talk about. But in the last week, I have really only listened to, my arm's getting sore even though it's resting on my, oh, look at These are fairy lights that Steve and I, well, that I put up. Steve's still on board with fairy lights now though. It's so good. And every night, this is just behind our bed. We turn them on when we're chatting or when we're watching Netflix. It's so good. And also this candle, which is gonna look horrible. It's a glass house candle. Don't really want to show you my bedside table because it looks so burnt. Because Steve always lights it by lighting one wick and then picking it up and turning it on its side to light the other, so it looks very burnt. This is the reality of my bedside table, and this is our, oh, can you see it? A drawer of Netflix snacks. So good. Anyway, so I try to keep myself inspired, and like from the very beginning when I started my blog and before I started my blog, I listened to podcasts, and I listened to them on the way to work, on the way home from work, when I was going for a run, when I was cooking, when I was cleaning, anything that I could do and listen to a podcast at the same time. I was listening to a podcast. I mainly listened to business and personal development podcasts, and I've spoken about different podcasts before, so I'm not going to go into that today because I don't want to be so repetitive and keep talking about the same things all the time. But I just found that listening to podcasts every day, all the time, it just makes you feel like you know how they say you're the average of the 5 people you surround yourself with, which I totally believe in the sense of like that creates your norm. And because most of us are living in our comforts, like, I don't know how to explain this, but what the people around you are doing creates what's normal for you. So if everyone around you is running a business, then it's normal to run a business. If everyone around you isn't running a business, then it's not normal, and you might not really know what to think about it. Vice versa, if everyone you know is going to uni, then it's normal to go to uni. If everyone you know isn't, then it's normal not to. And the people you surround yourself with have such a big impact on what your normal is, which also impacts like, I don't know, just your whole outlook. So when I was like introduced to the blogging world, which was through podcasts, and just getting into it, I just surrounded myself with the 5 people I spent the most time with were basically all podcasters. It was like Steve, and then like, I don't know who I listened to then, Pat Flynn, this is the best, I got to meet him at the Pro Blogger conference. If you don't know who Pat Flynn is, he has a podcast called Smart Passive Income, and yes, he influenced the name Smart 20s, which I told him as well. But I went to the Pro Blogger conference, and he was one of the keynote speakers, or the keynote speaker. And at the end, I was like, I have to just go and say thank you to him, because he's had such a big, like, without him, I don't want to say I probably wouldn't be doing this, but it's definitely not as likely, just because he's such a good example of sharing in a really open and honest way, and has been a huge inspiration to me. So I got to meet him and say thank you, and I didn't really know what to say, and I kind of got a bit stunned and didn't really feel, I almost felt like I was going to cry. But anyway, yeah, so I listened to people like that, and that's who the 5 people I surrounded myself with were like basically Steve and 4 podcasters. So I feel like podcasts and YouTube have had a huge impact on my mindset, and something I do to keep myself inspired. And this week and the last couple of weeks, I've mainly been listening to Gary Vaynerchuk. If you don't know him, he's an entrepreneur, and I don't even know how to explain him, but I just find the way that he approaches things so inspiring. So a lot of people, like, he's really, like, I've known about him for years, and I have only really just gotten super into him and what he shares, because when I first heard about him, and his message was a little different then, like, everyone grows, and my message, what I talk about now, is going to be different to what I talk about in 4 years, because I'll have a different outlook and all that kind of thing. When I first used to listen to him on podcasts, and if you've ever listened to business podcasts, it's like everyone's there are people that appear on every podcast, and you know, a lot of them interview each other, so you kind of get to know who's in the scene. And he was one of them, and I definitely found his stuff helpful, but I never really got into it. And he's quite loud and just like, I don't know how to explain it. And normally people that are super loud and in your face, I kind of like back away from. But anyway, I love Tony Robbins, and I'd say he's similar to Tony Robbins in a sense. But in the last few weeks, I stumbled across him again when I was searching for advice for women in their 20s on YouTube, and one of his videos came up, which was so good. I think I shared it in last week's email. That video, maybe I'll link it below because it was really, did I say that email? That video was so good. So he just shows the outlook, like he really talks about the process and the grind and patience. And I think it's so important to focus on those things, because that's really all there is. And a lot of us, like, I'll just speak for myself. Oh, sorry, that was gross. I can find myself falling into the trap of like wanting everything and wanting it now. And you know, there's so much marketing around like how to make money quickly, and how to be Instagram famous, and like just all that. And it seems like everyone's already way ahead of you in life, and they're younger and all of that kind of thing. And it can be really easy to fall into the trap of wanting everything now, being super impatient. And I don't know, the more I've been thinking about whether our generation is entitled or not, the more I think we are, just because I don't know that many of us are patient enough to, like, I don't want to generalize, but I think that a lot of us do expect things we're not working for, and I don't think it's our fault, but we've just grown up in a world of instant gratification, and a lot of our parents gave us things as soon as we wanted. Or, you know, they talk about the whole world of getting participation stickers and medals and all of that kind of thing, and we've just got told that you can have everything you want and you can have it now, and there isn't, like, I don't know, I'm still figuring out what my thoughts are on that. But lately I've been like, maybe I am entitled, but not in the way the media talks about it, because they just don't really have that helpful conversation around it. But I've just been thinking, like, maybe we need a bit more resilience and patience. So yeah, he just talks about, like, he wants to buy the New York Jets, which is a footy team or whatever. And people always interview him and they're like, when do you want to buy them? Like, it costs like a few $1 billion to buy them. And they're like, oh, you know, in a couple of years. He's like, no, in 20 years. Like, he's like, I love the process. I don't even want to buy them. I want the process of buying them. And I just find it so inspiring, because so few people talk about the process and falling in love with the process. And like, I know I talk about effort-based goals and focusing on the process when it comes to perfectionism, and that focusing on the process for me has been really the only way to pull myself out of self-sabotage. Because when I was focusing on results, I was always asking myself, like with exercise, healthy eating, with anything like that, I was with blogging, like, oh, is this going to be worth it? Is it going to be worth my effort? And if it looked like I might not achieve my result, then I wouldn't do it. But with a lot of things you need to put in a lot of consistency over a long period of time to get the result. And once I started focusing on the effort, so instead of thinking like I want to look a certain way from the gym, the goal became I'm going to go 6 times a week. And just that kind of thing, changing it from result to effort. So he just speaks about, those kids are really loud. He just really talks about effort, focusing on the effort and the process, and enjoying the process, because you're always in the process. Even when you achieve your goals, you're still going to end up being in the process. And it's just been really helpful for me, and he's the person really that inspired me to start this daily. Oh my god, I'm like having like chocolate burps because I just drank some, ate some clinkers. But yeah, he's the person that inspired me to do this daily vlogging, and he talks about documenting versus creating. And when he was just explaining or sharing his opinion on, like, imagine if, just like, it's so much more helpful to see what people are going through than, like, for me to share this kind of stuff. And, like, right now we're still in the first 10 days, so it's not all gold or anything like that, but by day 500 or whatever, I know it's 365 days, but if it's good, I'll keep going. Then I'm gonna be so much better. And then you can watch episode 500 and you can go back to the first day and be like, wow, look how much she's grown. And I can say that for myself. And yeah, just documenting and sharing what I'm learning as I'm learning it, which for me, when I watch people, I find it more helpful when they talk about their struggles and how they're figuring stuff out, instead of when they're like, here are 3 things you should do. So yeah, that's what I'm trying to do with this. I'm sure it'll be hit and miss. Like, doing this over the next year, there are going to be days when I have nothing to say. I often have thoughts jumbled up completely, and filming myself and not editing it really can show that. But that's who I am as a person. That's how a lot of people are as well. Like, I don't want to put out this image that I only ever say perfect sentences that always make sense. A lot of the time I just go around and around, and yeah, I can find it hard to communicate what I'm saying in speaking, because my thoughts are everywhere. And that's why I really like writing as well, because you can get all your thoughts out and then you can go back and change it a bit and make it what you really mean. But writing kind of slows me down in a way, and I can find that perfectionist tendency really coming through, because I know that I can have the freedom to edit and to make it exactly what I want to say. So I find it hard to let it go in a sense. But with filming myself talking and making myself do it every day so that I don't only do it when I feel like it. Like, there's going to be a lot of these videos and you're going to see me doing a video when I don't feel like it. And yeah, I think that's when the growing happens. But anyway, I'm finally getting my gym calluses back. I like don't want to ever wear gloves because I just think it's so cool that the body adapts. So anyway, now I got full-on calluses. But yeah, that's all I'm really going to share today. Definitely check out Gary Vaynerchuk if you're in need of some inspiration, or if you're comparing yourself to other people on social media. This video will definitely, it's so good the way he calls this girl out, and I'm like, damn, I can so relate to her, and I can totally get what he's saying, and I'll link it below definitely so you can watch it. Yeah, also please let me know what your thoughts are in terms of these videos, like what format you think might be good, or if you just want to see me keep trying to figure out what to do. And I'm also thinking of starting a podcast. So I've got quite a few emails from people who are like, have you thought of starting a podcast, like from you guys? And yes, I have, because as I just shared, podcasts are my biggest obsession, more so than blogging, more so than YouTube, more so than any other platform, Instagram, whatever. Podcasting is my number one obsession and the thing I listen to the most. It's definitely on my mind to create a podcast, and this daily series was actually when I had planned or first started thinking about a podcast a year ago. I was like, maybe I'll do a year of self-coaching or a year of personal growth. So that's where this idea came from, and then I thought it'd just be cool to do it in video, but I'm not sure exactly what I want to do a podcast about. It is an option just to put the audio of my YouTube videos, but I feel like I'd like it to be its own thing. Also, before I go, one more thing. This book. Also, do you want to see a cute photo first? This is baby me and baby Steve at our formal. At my formal. We didn't go to the same school. Oh, he's so cute. I feel like I look quite different. Yeah, kind of looks like our wedding, hey. Anyway, I'm reading this, and I started reading it. I don't know if you like you might have seen me talking about this book before, Me Before You. Very late on the trend with this one, but I've just, like, look where I am. I'm so close to the end, and I, like, can't put it down. Like, I didn't want to go to bed last night, so I'm trying to work through everything, like my email and blog post this afternoon, as quickly and best as I can, so that I can finish reading that before Steve gets home, because I really want to know what happened. And the bit I read last night, like, made me cry, and it's so good. I think I'm going to read the next book after that. I think it's After You or whatever, so I'm pretty sure he dies, but I don't know how yet. So anyway, that's what I'm going to share today. Hope you're having a really good week, and I will see you tomorrow. Bye.